Good morning, all of you. This is Prasad Shendre from Department of English, and here I am here to present a lecture on poetry and its type. So, friend, first of all, let us write the name, and then we will have the information about poetry and its type. So, our topic is, sorry, poetry and its type. Friends, I would like to inform you that literature is very vast and it has different genres, different forms like novels, poetry, then short story is there, drama is there, prose. So here in today's lecture we are going to focus on the well-known form of that is poetry, a literary form. So basically what is meant by poetry? Poetry we can say it is a literary device written in verse, or another definition we can take that poetry is a literary device that uses aesthetic or figurative language to express the emotion or to evoke the emotions. Okay, so various writers are there, various poets are there who has given different definition regarding with the poets. Like William Wordsworth says that the poetry is nothing but the spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling. Or if you consider one more English poet, that is Matthew Arnold, who talk about poem that poetry is nothing but the criticism of life. So first of all, we are going to write the points, and accordingly we will have the explanation. So let's write some points. So what we saw recently, that is the definition, okay, and the second we are going to talk about the difference between poem and poetry, poem and poetry. The next point that we are going to focus on is the elements of poetry, elements of poetry, and the last one, that is the forms of poetry, forms of poetry, or we can say poem. Okay, so definition we have seen. Let's see the difference between poem and poetry. Most of time what happens, many students get confused or many readers get confused that poem and poetry is different. But while studying the literature, we have to take the literary meaning of each and every word. Poem is different and poetry is different. We can say the poem is a small concept or a specific concept, or when a writer write his individual poem, or when he try to express his individual theme or thematic concern, so that is a poem. And poetry is a broader concept, means in poetry there might be many poems, like we can say romantic poetry. In romantic poetry there you will get to see the different poems, like the poems written by William Wordsworth, the poems written by S.T. Coleridge, P.B. Shelley, John Keats is there, William Blake is there. Okay, so these are the romantic poetry, means collection of all poems written by many writers of that particular era. And here poem means can be an individual work, a kind of one a single poem we can say. So the poem, we can have the example of William Wordsworth, the Daffodils, or the Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Okay, so this is a major difference between poem and poetry. Here in poem you will get to see the individual expression of thoughts or ideas or any kind of feelings, emotions. But in poetry you will get to see the collective expression of thoughts, collective expression of different romantic poets while studying the romantic poetry. Okay, so here is the difference between poem and poetry. Now we are going to see the different element of poems. As we studied that poetry is nothing but the spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling. A nice definition given by our romantic poet, that William Wordsworth. So when we go through the poem, so we have to study different type of elements. Many elements are there, like we have to study meter, we have to study the rhyme scheme is there, symbol is there, then imagery is there, or figure of speech are there. So these are the different elements I would like to write on the board so that the ideas will be more clear. So here the elements of poetry that just mentioning: meter, rhyme scheme, then there is a figures of speech, figures of speech, then one more: imagery, imagery, symbols, symbols. Okay, what is left? Okay, so these are the main element of poetry. Means when you will go through any poem, so any one of the following given element will be there. So what is meter? Friend, meter is a technical device where the stressed and unstressed syllables are there. Stressed and unstressed syllable, do not get confused that stressed there are some words or there are some syllable which are stressed, means we have to follow some rules and regulation while reading that particular word. For example, like nowadays most of people or most of students say that teacher, but it's not teacher, it's teacher, teacher. Then door, sometimes the student says that doer, it's not doer, it's door. A sister, teacher, doctor. Okay, so here we get to see stressed and unstressed syllable. In meter there are iambic pentameter, or we can say that trochee is there. In iambic pentameter, student, you will get to see the unstressed syllable is followed by stressed syllable, or in trochee here the stressed syllable is followed by unstressed syllable. So this is a kind of literary device used by the poets. In modern era, student, we don't get to see this meter, the kind of meter followed by the modern poet or postmodern poet. The meter is mostly followed by the classical poets, and it was very hard to follow or to bring in the poems. So nowadays it is not followed by the poets. Meter is mostly followed by the intellectual people like Alexander Pope, John Donne, or we can say John Milton. Okay, so this is all about meter. Rhyme scheme is what? Rhyme scheme, it is a ordered pattern which follow, you know, a rhythmic pattern at the end of every line. So rhyme scheme, you know, there is a ABAB, or what we can say that in italic sonnet there is a ABBA, ABBA, CDE, CDE, or in Shakespearean sonnet you will get to see the rhyme scheme like AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, GG. Okay, so this is a rhyme scheme. Means rhyme scheme, how it is formed by seeing the ending word. If it form a rhyme, so we get a particular rhyme scheme. Sometime we do not get to see any kind of rhyme scheme. So here we get to see only free verse, means no rhyme scheme, no meter. Okay, so that free verse, what is meant by the free verse, or what is meant by the blank verse, that we are going to see while studying the next part of the poem, that is the forms of poetry. Okay, so now figures of speech. Friends, I can say that figures of speech is the ornamental language or ornament of any literary work. I have given the example like I would like to explain these figures of speech like when a normal woman is there, so she doesn't look that much good if you compared that woman with a bride who is in well costumes, wearing ornaments. So she looks very pretty compared with the normal woman. So these figures of speech are like this. here we get to see when we studied the figures of speech, means it is a kind of artistic language. It enhances the beauty of the language, and it becomes very easy and rhythmic, and nice to listen when we listen the poem like a twinkle twinkle little star. So here the word is being repeated two times, so it becomes very easy to understand, and gives us a pleasure while reading that particular line. So this is all about the figures of speech. Imagery, one more element of poem. Imagery is what? It is a kind of a language, or we can say a literary device. It is a literary device that enhances or evoke the human senses like a touch, or sometime no smell, or like taste. So these are the different type of imagery. Then symbols are a kind of literary devices, means a particular thing is used to represent another thing. For example, if I say, or if I use a rose in my poem, a kind of symbol, so sometimes it might represent a danger, or sometimes it might represent a love for any person. Okay, or thorns are there in the poem, so it denotes that there are some dangerous, or the poet is trying to express the sorrowful life, his own. Okay, so this is all about the imagery, or the elements of poetry, uh, forms of poetry. So here let's clean up all this, and then we will go ahead. So our next point is what? Forms of poetry. Forms of poetry. So student, we have different forms of poetry. Here you will get to study sonnet is there, sonnet, then epic, or one more, that is a dirge, ode is there, lyric, and one more, that is epic is done. Then what? So these are the, or we can say the free verse and blank verse. Now here I am not going to focus on all these points in detail, but we will have the surface level meaning of this poem. Sonnet means what? It is a kind of 14 line poems. So there are two types of sonnet, that is a Petrarchian sonnet and English sonnet. English sonnets are also known as Shakespearean sonnet, and Petrarchian sonnet is also known as Italian sonnet. So here you will find 14 line poems. I would like to tell you one example, that is the world is too much with us, a well-known sonnet written by William Wordsworth, or one more sonnet written by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, that is If Thou Love Me, Let It Be For Naught. So these sonnets express their genuine feeling about the love. Then epic, what is epic? Epic is what? It is a lengthy heroic narrative poem. It is a lengthy, means it is not like a short poem, but many kind of cantos you will find, like Ramayana and Mahabharata, or if you consider some example from English literature, so you will get to see there is a Paradise Lost, John Milton, and Alexander Pope's written that one more mock epic we can say, that is the Rape of the Lock. Okay, then dirge. Here dirge and elegy is there. I would like to write here dirge and elegy. Both these poetic form express the sorrow. If there will be the death of someone or loss of life, so elegy or dirge is written. It is a kind of expression of lamentation or sorrowful song we can say. This is the elegy. Ode is a admirable song. Ode to Grecian Urn, a nice sonnet written by John Keats. So in Ode to Grecian Urn, there was a kind of a big pot, Grecian urn we can say, and on that pot they have drawn a different kind of pictures which was focusing the history of the contemporary era, and by seeing that pictures the poet got very much, attracted toward it, and he wrote a song, a admirable song that was nothing but ode. Lyric is a kind of poem which explain, or we can say which can be sung with the help of musical instrument. There are many lyrics in the English. Free verse and blank verse, the last type of the forms of poetry, that is the free verse. Means what? When in the poem there will not be any kind of meter or rhyme scheme, means rhyme scheme and meter is not followed, that time it is known as free verse. Free verse is famous in the modern era or postmodern era. Nowadays the poet are not going to, sorry, the poets do not does not use the rhyme scheme or sometime the meter in their poems while composing. But free verse means they do not use this rhyme scheme and meter. Blank verse means what? There is use of meter but no rhyme scheme. Okay, so this was all about the forms of poems. I hope you got whatever is explained over here. Thank you.